just fixing up my audio here.
All right, folks, we'll call the meeting to order. This is the December 14th, 2020 edition of the Moorhead City Council meeting. And the time is approximately 5:32 p.m. Madam Clerk, can we please get a roll call?
Shelley Dahlquist.
Here.
Sara Watson-Curry.
Here.
Shelley Carlson.
Here.
Heidi Durand.
Here.
Deb White.
Here.
Larry Seljevold. Larry Seljevold.
Here.
Chuck Hendrickson.
Here.
Steve Lindoff.
Here.
In council, I have Acting City Manager Dan Molly and City Attorney John Shockley, and then Mayor Johnathan Judd.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Can we all please stand and recite the pledge? Thank you, everyone. One moment here. One moment, folks. I got to find one. Script. Well, apparently, I don't have. One moment, my apologies. There we go. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mayor Johnathan Judd, and the Moorhead City Council is holding its regularly scheduled meeting using virtual meeting technology under an emergency declaration due to COVID-19. I am currently in the City Council chambers, along with the Acting City Manager, City Attorney, City Clerk, Councilmember Durand, and Councilmember Watson-Curry, and a few other staff members. Other council members are attending remotely. Any public comment received prior to this meeting will be read as a part of the record during the applicable agenda item. The public may participate during the meeting by calling 218-299-5001. Public input will be taken by a staff member and forwarded to me to be read during the meeting. Or you may request that your call be bridged to the virtual WebEx meeting and speak directly during our public hearings or citizens addressing the council agenda item. Again, the public comment line is 218-299-5001. If there's not an answer, please leave your message or callback number, and a member of our staff will get back to you as soon as possible. We'll move on to item number 3 this evening, and for those folks at home, we do have a very large agenda this evening, and we'll look to see if there's any amendments to this agenda at this time. Hearing none, item number 4 will be the consent agenda, and I'll ask Acting City Manager Molly, are there any modifications or anything that's coming off consent this evening?
We have received none, Mayor.
Great. Councilmember Durand moves for approval. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilmember Watson Curry. Any discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk?
Dahlquist,
Yes.
Watson Curry,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Durand,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Seljevold, Seljevold,
Aye.
Hendrickson,
Aye.
Lindos.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. So under item number 5, recognition presentations, it is a pleasure to announce the 2020 Moorhead Human Rights Awards recipients. And human rights are the inherent rights that belong to each and every person. According to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, some fundamental rights include the right to equality and freedom from discrimination, freedom of thought and religion, the right to education and work, and the right to participate in the cultural life of the community. Understanding and protecting each person's human rights is essential to the establishment of justice, peace, and happiness in the world. The Moorhead Human Rights Awards honors individuals and organizations serving the Moorhead area for making outstanding contributions to protecting and promoting human rights in our community. The 2020 Human Rights Award recipients have established integrity, creativity, commitment to principles, and they exhibit courage and perseverance in the area of human rights. And I think it really speaks volumes to the essence of what we are and what we're enduring right now in our community, that we have individuals who've gone above and beyond the call to ensure that the human rights that are granted to us all are not compromised, especially during this pandemic. I would now like to invite the chair of the Moorhead Human Rights Commission, Connie Odden, to, I guess, virtually come up and introduce the 2020 Moorhead Human Rights Award recipients. And I'll pass over to you, Chair Odden.
Thank you so much, Mayor Jay. Good evening, everyone. As we celebrate significant contribution to human rights in our community, it's important to recognize the human rights defenders working to make our community forward and make human rights reality. Today, we recognize the outstanding contribution of 3 individuals and 1 organization chosen as recipients of the 2020 Moorhead Human Rights Awards. I want to pay respect to all human rights defenders around the globe. 6 years ago, I was in Hodor, my hometown, defending human rights, basic human rights. I was tortured, and I faced death threats. I lost friends, my co-workers, and more loved ones, simply because we defend human rights and we fight equal education for all. Hodor is a small city, a beautiful city, southern Somalia, a city that I love. Today, I'm here to recognize human rights contributions, but the question is what's happening in my hometown today. Within a month, 2 vehicles were set on fire between Hodor and Beledweyne Road, the only road that accommodates due to the prolonged dark road blocking. There's high infiltrations in my hometown today. People are not being able to cook 3 days a meal. I call my mom every day just asking simple question, but difficult to answer. Mom, are you safe and do you eat? Our human rights award winners, their work and the other human rights defenders around the world is essential for collective efforts to sustain peace and ensure inclusive, sustainable development and respect for human rights for all. Often the work is done. We regularly hear abuse against human rights defenders, murder, disappearance, torture, and other attempts of silence them. Yet, those individuals' groups remain committed of shining lights in the dark corner of the globe. Whenever human rights violation happen, recipients of Moorhead Human Rights Award are Jamal Abigas. Jamal has shown ambition, awareness, care, compassion through his voluntary activism as individual, as the leader of the local Black Lives Matter and Red River Valley Democrats Socialists of America chambers. Please welcome Jamal. Jamal, are you there?
I am here. Thank you very much. Okay, I thought you were running through the entire list. My apologies. I'd like to thank everybody for being here tonight. Thank the Commissioner of the Human Rights Commission in Moorhead, as well as the Moorhead City Council. I am extremely humbled to receive this award tonight. I received this award not on behalf of my efforts, but understanding that my efforts are just a small part of a regional group of activists, which I have been a part of and have been really lucky to help grow during my time in the Fargo-Moorhead area. I'm doing everything I can, during going to school and trying to raise awareness so that we can really make Moorhead be the community we want to be, make it an emblem of real hope and progress in the upper Midwest. I am tonight really happy to address folks specifically because as we meet here tonight, there are water protectors across the state who are currently organizing to stop the drilling of Mother Earth, the destruction of forests, the destruction of public lands, so that oil pipelines can be drilled to pipe more and more oil from the Alberta tar sands. We understand fully the effects of fossil fuels and fossil fuel burning has on our environment, has on climate change, and those deleterious effects which have done everything from causing droughts to floods to fires. I myself was born and raised in San Diego, California, and twice, once in 2003 and 2007, I watched as about half of the county was ablaze. I cannot tolerate that. I have comrades who are up on the lines right now who have been arrested and are taking part in nonviolent actions, including sit-ins, which lead to arrests, in order to make the point known. The land is sacred. The water is sacred. Treaties that have been signed with indigenous communities and indigenous peoples are the supreme law of the land, and they must be upheld. We need to all commit to a future where we can continue to exist as a species and as a sentient species on this planet. We owe a duty of care to every living thing on this planet. We do not misuse resources and destroy ourselves and life on this planet as we know it. So my message to everybody would be at home would be that while you are thinking of human rights and while you are, congratulating myself and the other folks on this panel, that you can commit to doing actions to stop the Line 3 pipeline. If you go to linktr.ee linktr.ee/stopline3. You can find ways to get involved, to contribute to some of the funds there, and encourage you to get out to the camps if you can. There's one currently just north of Palisades, Minnesota. There's some out on the Fond du Lac Reservation. Get out there and put your body on the line and really make a stand. Make a stand for human rights. I'm here because people have done it for me before. I'll continue to do it after, and I hope everybody is empowered to do the same. Thank you.
So much, Jamal. Our next recipient will be Ahmed. Ahmed Shil has made an impact in the community through his work during the pandemic. He has helped to connect local organizations to the United Way Cascade. He created COVID-19 response team with more than seven organizations. Through his work, he has been providing vulnerable education to immigrant community to help prevent the spread of COVID-19 in the community. He has also assisted with the food distribution for those who have been infected. Please welcome Ahmed.
Thank you, Chairman Ani Aden. I appreciate. Thank you, Mayor Judd, City of Moorhead Council, city staff. It's an honor to receive such a prestigious award. I am thankful to be part of this community. I am thankful to work with such an amazing team at the United Way, who really does see the challenges in our community, and just to really take action and remove barriers that the community has. The pandemic brought many challenges for our community and globally, and United Way sees that and because we have so many great partnerships in the community, we're able to partner with community and really take action on those challenges that our community locally are facing. So to really go out there and advocate for people and remove barriers and help new Americans. And new Americans has really faced the challenges even more difficulty because of a lot of barriers that they faced, especially due to language barrier. So it's really an honor to work with organizations such as Afro-American Development and other organizations and community action agencies to really collaborate together to uplift and remove those barriers. So I really am honored. I thank our community and in the lovely team that I work at United Way. That's this really it's really great honor. I can't emphasize on the word honor enough because this is an amazing community that sees unity, and that's what I really do love about the community. Thank you so much for recognizing the hard work of United Way and myself.
Thank you so much, Ahmed, and thank you what you do for this community. Our next receptor is going to be Carrie Yates. Carrie has worked hard to serve this new American community. She has worked to connect new American community parents, especially parents with the school district. She volunteered in teaching English classes for new Americans and has even assisted with food distributions for new American community during the pandemic. Carrie Yates, please welcome.
Thank you, Chairman Adan and Mayor Judd, City Council members, and all the members of the Human Rights Commission. I want to say that my own work within the New American community has been, for me, nothing short of gratifying and even life-changing. And yet accepting an award such as this feels so uncomfortable, to say the least. And I think that's because just knowing there is such big work to do, so much more work to do in our community, and that the work ahead is certainly vast compared to the work that I personally have done to this point. So, but that said, I want to just humbly thank the members of the commission for this award and for your work in this community. I consider this recognition to be just another really powerful nudge forward in my own journey of service. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carrie, and thank you whatever you did for this community. And especially I want to thank you, the connection you make, New American parents and the school district. Our next recognition is gonna be Moorhead Police Athletics and Activity League. In 2019, Moorhead Police Athletic and Activity League, PAL, helped 780 kids by providing opportunity for them to have one-on-one contact with law enforcement officers through the programs such as Shop with the Cop, Cab and Kid, hockey games, bike donations, and more. PAL looks for ways to have positive impact with this community, especially youth. PAL goals is to provide a positive influence to empower relationships and reduce juvenile crimes. Over 85% of officers' time is donated off shift, and the remaining time is donated by the Moorhead Police Department. PAL believes all those positive. Please welcome Moorhead Police Athletics and Activity League.
I'd like to thank the commission for this recognition. We're very proud to have received it. And thank you for giving a rundown of what the program is. Just in crunching some numbers this week, I'm very proud to announce that we, with our Shop with the Cop program tomorrow night, will be over 1,000 kids in the 3 short years that we've been around. So even through the pandemic, we've been able to find ways to reach kids. And it's a great program to be a part of, and every event that we have, I'm just excited to see the officers donating their time and getting excited about getting out to the community and just having that one-on-one time with the kids and getting to know them, because with all the negative we see in law enforcement, it's refreshing to see the positive and be able to help families. It's kind of funny to see the officers going to Target this weekend and shopping. They were more excited than the kids that were in the store when they were going around with their carts and buying the presents, buying the toys. So, you know, between the Shop with the Cop tomorrow night and then Wednesday night, we'll be providing presents for the children at Churches United. It's just a fun event to be a part of. And again, we thank the commission and the city council and the city of Moorhead as a whole for supporting this program and making it possible. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mayor Judd. Finally, I want to thank my board, Moorhead Human Rights Commission. Without them, I cannot make all this work together, and also Moorhead City Council. Thank you, everyone. Back to you, Mayor Judd.
Hopefully the clap didn't cause a lot of feedback for folks, but it's very much deserved. And really, thank you again, Commissioner Adden, for your leadership, as well as Human Rights Commission. And again, you know, to all the recipients, thank you for your work. You know, we know that right now times are really tough, and we're all trying to keep our own personal lives together. But the effort you put in to keep Moorhead a welcoming and inclusive community, and having these conversations and bringing us all together, honestly, it is a really positive way to end this year. So really, thank you. We all, as a council, appreciate your work, and you know, anything that we can do to be supportive of your efforts, just always let us know. Thank you. And folks, we'll move on to item 5B, which is the recognition of the 2,000 Books Before Kindergarten program. And I believe that's going to be introduced by Councilmember Carlson.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor Judd. This is a young lady, and I'm hoping that Mr. Chris Ratty can put up her pictures. As part of the library board, I was informed that this young lady has not just read 1,000 books before kindergarten, but 2,000 books before kindergarten. And what this program is Moorhead families with children under 5 are encouraged to participate in a national movement called 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten. And this is done through the Moorhead Library. The statistic is on average that Americans spend 2 hours a day watching TV and only 7 minutes reading. I would anticipate that that number has probably increased since COVID. But by reading to your child, you get to build a foundation for success in school as well as in life. The program, there it is. The program at Moorhead is encouraged for families to participate by visiting the library to sign up for the program. You pick up reading logs and you also get your own book bag and you just start reading. You read to your kids. Little Miss Audrey Leach, there on, well, I'm looking at it, it's on my left-hand side. She was about 14 months old when she completed her first 1,000 books before kindergarten. And you can even count the same book more than once. I know when my children were young, we read the same Brown Bear book every night, sometimes 2 or 3 times. You can log each time that you read that book. When you complete a log, you bring it to the library and the kids get a sticker. When you read all 1,000 books before kindergarten, you visit the library to celebrate completing the program. The kiddos get a medal and you get to put you choose a book to put in the collection with a name place sticker in honor of their achievement. So Aubrey, not only did she read 1,000, she actually read 2,000 books before kindergarten. And this is a photo of her. She was able to FaceTime with her grandparents when she stopped in and got her second sticker and second name place. Approximately 500 kiddos in Moorhead are currently enrolled in this program. And particularly with COVID, I just really want to encourage people to utilize our phenomenal resource of the Moorhead Library. And this is a great way to get the little ones involved. So just a shout out to Miss Audrey Leach. Her parents are Andrew and Lisa Leach of Moorhead. So congratulations to her.
Thank you, Councilmember Carlson. And that's a very big achievement, 2,000 books. That's, yeah, that's awesome. So thank you for sharing that. And folks, that moves us to item, Councilmember, I'm sorry, back to City Manager Molly. So I have to wait the 2 minutes, correct? No, 1 minute. Okay. And folks, where we're at is agenda item 5C. At 6 o'clock, which is approximately 1 minute, we will go to the Truth and Taxation public comment opportunity. And this is regarding the 2021 budget and tax levy.
I was waiting for that.
Okay, folks, it is now 6 p.m., and then we will move on with agenda item 5C, which is the Truth and Taxation public comment. And then I will pass it over to our City Finance Manager, Carla McCall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. As we know, we've been working hard this year to try to come up with a 2021 budget that's affordable for everyone in the city. We're going to just do a review of the budget, just a simple review, just in case there are some who are viewing tonight that haven't seen the budget information. So we would start with the fact that the property taxes we're showing an increase of 2%, which is going to just increase the estimated tax rate by 0.45%. And you could see in the proposed tax statement that is much lower than both the county and the school district. So what we have then is the general fund expenditures. The way that the general fund of $32,000 is $32 million, excuse me, is spent, is broken down by this, as you can see in this chart, where the police are 34% is the largest portion of that expense, and that chart provides that information. The next slide shows the amount that the tax levy is being requested at $15,819,000 for the general tax levy, and it is split between the general fund, the library, debt service, permanent improvements, and tax abatement. And the EDA does have a separate taxing authority and is levying $506,000. So in the next slide, you can see that the share that in 2020, at the time that this was prepared, that there was no 2021 final data yet. So the 2020 amounts show that 38% of every dollar goes to the county, 26 cents to the school, 34 cents is the cities, and then there's both a cent for the EDA, HRA, and the watershed. The next slide then shows what this 2% tax levy increase would do for a median home value of $185,900 would be about 27 cents a month, or $3.28 on their annual tax bill. And a home of $300,000 would be 48 cents a month, or $5.79 in there as an increase to their annual tax bill. The next slide is showing that there will be an increase in wastewater rates. They'll be going up 2.5%. So the average household bill for wastewater would go up from $31.17 to $31.95, or a 78-cent per month increase for wastewater. The next slide shows the sanitation, which is proposing a rate increase of 3.5%. And again, for a 48-gallon container, the residential family monthly bill will go from $9.46 to $9.79, or a 33-cent per month increase being proposed. The next slide is some information about our capital improvement plan that we put into place this year in 2021. It's a 5-year capital improvement plan. It's for purchases that are over $5,000. And so there's a separate plan here that provides the detail of what that capital spending would be. And in 2021, it is approximately $20 million of spending. And the next slide is summarizing what we're doing for the 2021 budget. The property tax increase of 2% is about $310,000. And that is equivalent to an estimated tax rate increase of, again, 0.45%, the smallest increase that we've seen for many years here for the city. Wastewater rate's going to increase 2.5%, the sanitation rate increase of 3.5%. So the estimated monthly increase in costs for an average single family home would be a property tax increase of 27 cents a month, a wastewater increase of 78 cents a month, and a sanitation increase of 33 cents a month. So the monthly increase that the city is looking for a median house single family home is $1.38 per month, or an annual amount of $16.56 for the year. With that, we will be opening giving an opportunity for residents to ask any questions about any of the budget information.
Thank you, Ms. McCall, for the overview. And at this time, I'm not sure, I'll defer to either Acting City Manager Molly or Madam City Clerk Rust. Have we, has anyone called in specifically to comment on this agenda item?
I have no callers at this time.
And Acting City Manager Molly, are we aware of anyone that is currently called in regarding this item or any electronic communication, email or otherwise?
We have no callers related to this item, Mayor.
Thank you. And then I'll just, to make sure that we don't have any other folks sitting, because there's a lot of folks that I'm looking at that are logged in, to make sure that there are no comments on this item. And Acting City Manager Molly is going to check. We just want to make sure before we move forward.
I'd like to speak on the issue or ask a question.
Mr. Abagaz, you're up.
Thank
Now,
you very much.
let me also say, we may not, if we don't know the answer immediately, we may have to go back and research, but,
Absolutely.
okay.
Thank you. Yes, so is there a specific, is there a specific document released or a part of this presentation that goes over the year, that examines the year-over-year spending increases of particular departments and services? Specifically noticing how it appears that the police seem to have the lion's share of the funding. Is that going up? Is that going down? What are the needs? Is there a sudden increase in the crime rate? Is their budget going up? Is it going down? Is that explained at all? It seems like it was the one thing that was spoken about, mentioned the least, especially in proportion to the rest of the expenditures being made.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, would you like me to respond to that, or City Manager Molly?
Well, I'll leave it up to either you, Ms. McCall, or Acting City Manager Molly. I know there's kind of multiple questions there, so I'm not sure if we have answers to all of them, but whichever one of you city staff are able to respond, that's fine.
Well, I'll take a quick stab at answering the question. There were no large increases for any one department. It was across the board, primarily for personnel, increase in personnel costs. So the police department did not see any additional increases that any other department did not. So there was no large increase. They just happened to be one of the largest departments as far as the cost to the city of Moorhead. That's not new. They're always that way. That's always a large. So the only increase was minimal, and it was across the board for all departments. There were minor increases. You will see there will be a detailed budget that will be posted on the city's website following the approval of the final budget. So you'll be able to see some years of history to explore the increases, to see that they're minor as far as the police department increases are be the same as you would see any other department, basically. There's no large increases for the police.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Jamal, Mr.
Yep.
Rabagast, I just wanted to give you a heads up. We usually only devote 3 minutes for folks to speak on these items. So I just want you to know you're pretty close to time with Ms. McCall having to answer the question. So I just want to give you a heads up on that.
Yep. Yes, thank you. If I could just have the 20 seconds, I believe that you had taken with that explanation. Thank you. Thank you very much for answering the question. Is there any way we can get that line-by-line information before there's an approval? One of my interests without regard to the police is also the Parks Department. I just want to make sure that they're getting enough money to do all that they need to do.
Well, we have the approval of the 2021 tax levy and budget on the agenda tonight. So,
Okay.
and we are required to approve it this month, by the end of the year.
So, so to answer that question, Mr. Avigas, so that will be approved, and I think that when that document gets out there, then it should probably answer your questions. But obviously, if you have any questions after looking at that document, city staff can help you out on that too.
Thank you.
No problem. Acting City Manager Molly?
Certainly. Thank you, Mayor. The other thing that I just want to point out is that, we've been very intentional about being open and transparent throughout this whole process. In September, we presented the budget. We asked you for preliminary approval of a budget in November. 3 weeks ago, we presented this budget again, same information, and then tonight would be another look. So we've tried to get this information in front of the public as much as we could, and that has occurred every month for the last 4 months.
Thank you for sharing that. So I want to make sure any other citizens that are commenting, otherwise I think we can probably move forward. Okay, thank you, Ms. McCall. Thank you, Acting City Manager Molly.
You're welcome, and thank you for a successful budget session and season. Thank you.
Thank you. And folks, we'll move on to item 5D, which is recognition of the outgoing city council members, Ms. Heidi Durand and Ms. Sara Watson-Curry. So I want to take a few moments here to give some brief highlights of each council member and the work that they have done in their tenure. So we'll begin first with Councilmember Heidi Durand, who has served on the Moorhead City Council for 9 years, from 2012 to 2020. During her tenure, Councilmember Durand was the council's representative on several boards and committees, including the Moorhead Public Service Commission, upon which her service will continue as a citizen representative, the Board of Appeal and Equalization, the Park Advisory Board, Community Facilities Task Force, Economic Development Authority, Public Housing Agency. Heidi's work and passion to establish new standards for short-term loans is an important measure for consumer protection in our city. She's also made a measurable difference in how Moorhead pursues inclusivity in recreation. She's a champion of the Envision Inclusive Playground, one of the priority projects as part of the city's community amenities plan. Heidi has given her time to represent the mayor and city council at events, meetings, celebrations for the community and our employees. She's publicly recognized city employees in ways that have been noticed and greatly appreciated by our staff. The Councilmember Sara Watson-Curry, who has served in the Moorhead City Council for 4 years, from 2017 through 2020. During her tenure, Councilmember Watson-Curry was the council's representative on several boards and committees, including Oakport Joint Powers Board, Airport Committee, Art and Culture Commission, Metro Area Transit Coordinating Board, Human Rights Commission, Park Advisory Board, Fargo-Moorhead Metropolitan Council of Governments Policy Board, which is a meeting tomorrow, by the way. Cass County Solid Waste Advisory Board, Cass Clay Food Systems Advisory Board, Legislative and Budget Work Groups. Councilmember Watson-Curry has made an impact and impression on the community by promoting mass transit, bike, and pedestrian travel. Sara listened and learned a lot about wild turkey management during her tenure on the city council. But in all sincerity, she was a great leader working through the complex subject and wide-ranging opinions about Moorhead's turkeys. Councilmember Watson-Curry is a champion for funding of the new solid waste transfer station, which just received state funding approval and will be built in 2021. Our city staff leadership from multiple departments mentioned how she sent encouragement during times of high demand and high stress on services. That communication is something the public doesn't see, but shows great leadership and compassion. Now to talk about both of my colleagues. Both council members, Durand and Watson Curry, were engaged in the development of Moorhead's first strategic plan that will continue to guide our city in the future. During their tenure, Moorhead has made great strides in flood control and economic development. They have represented their constituents well, and I am Moorhead proud to have worked with these citizen leaders who serve the city with distinction. They are thoughtful, encouraging, friendly, and supportive of the city and all of its residents, businesses, institutions, employees, and other stakeholders. On behalf of the council and our community residents and businesses, please accept our gratitude. You have invested your time and talents to grow Moorhead as a vibrant community during your tenures on Moorhead City Council. We hope that you will continue to share your time and talents in Moorhead. Thank you. And I want to give each of my colleagues some time to share some thoughts. You're fine with me, whatever your comfort level is.
Thank you for those kind words, and those were not singular accomplishments. Those were all, it's a team sport here, and so I feel really honored that I get to share in some of the celebration, but that was not a solo effort. I did write down a few thoughts because I've felt rather emotional today, actually, in thinking of setting this down. So if you can bear with me, I timed myself. I think it's about 2.5 minutes. So as I close the chapter in service in this capacity, I just want to say, although I think it's already abundantly clear that Moorhead, I really like you. And I'm not alone in this, this affection for our community. And as mentioned before, I can't list everyone that makes this team sport possible. And there are so many people who have inspired me and just really worked hard to make this city shine. So thank you so much for that. And if I can offer 2 personal reflections that if future council wants to take into action in the spirit of service and improvement, I would appreciate that. So a few candid thoughts. I guess first I would say there are definitely dark days when you're in the role of service, and I'm so appreciative of all the people who have lent a shoulder to lean on and also who show us the light. And the steps to move forward. So the 2 things I want to talk about, one is an economics piece and the other is participation. So our mayor and council, past, current, and future, are dedicated and invaluable in keeping communication open and striving for inclusive practices, keeping that front and center in our community. And it's a privilege to serve, and it is also comes with sacrifices. And I just wanted to share on my personal experience. I am an hourly wage earner, and it's not sustainable always to represent in this capacity. And particularly as we strive to have representation of our diverse community, both of thought, of economics, and background, I just want to keep that in the back of your mind and think about the structure and how we place value in this role for having a dynamic team that can best serve our community. And second is the participation piece. I'm way going over 3 minutes. So I know I'm not the first parent to serve on the commission or on the council, and I won't be the last. And I wish that all parents could feel the warmth and support that I did as I transitioned from being an autonomous adult to a mom, and a lot of precious memories as I chose to bring him in more public functions, and so he was welcomed at strategic planning and city meetings and other functions. And I just wanted to say, encourage anything we can do to advocate for increase participation to allow parents and working folks to access meetings and input for the community. One silver lining of a global pandemic is possibly this virtual meeting technology. And so thinking about using that if people are ill, if they're traveling. So just wanted to keep those two things in mind, and valuing our public servants and also increasing participation. So I've rambled on enough. I appreciate you guys. I'll miss you, but I am off the dais, but not out of the fight. So thank you so much.
And thank you for your service. Really appreciate it. Councilmember Durand.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I did not time myself because I don't know what I'm going to say. 9 years has been a long time, but it's been a good time. I've learned an incredible amount of information and have been able to experience municipal government in a way so many people don't. And for that, I'm very thankful for the people of Moorhead to have given me their trust to lead for them and with them. I will miss council and I will miss everybody here, but I too will not be gone. I will be working in a different capacity. Yeah, I thank everybody for your trust, and look forward to where Moorhead is going. I feel confident and I feel at ease leaving the dais because I know it's in good hands.
And thank you for your service, Councilmember Durand. But I think, so we can end on a happy note, thank you for your continued service as you transition and becoming residents and still being a voice for people in our community that greatly need it. So thank you. And for those folks at home, we do have gifts that we provided, and we want to be respectful for the COVID purposes that they did receive a parting gift for their service to our city. So again, thank you. And folks, that moves us to item number 6 on the agenda, which is the approval of the minutes from November 23rd, 2020. Are there any modifications, amendments?
I'll second.
And the motion has been made to approve the minutes. It's been made by Councilmember Durand, seconded by Councilmember Watson-Curry. Any discussion? Hearing, seeing none. Madam City Clerk.
Dahlquist,
Yes.
Watson-Curry,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Durand,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Seljevold,
Aye.
Hendrickson,
Aye.
Lindas.
Yes.
Motion carries. And folks, we'll move on to item number 7 on the agenda, which is the citizens addressing the council. I do believe we have one person that wishes to be heard, and what I'll do is allow some flexibility for folks at home. Normally, we do allow for 3 minutes for citizens that wish to address the council. However, in this particular situation, I do believe we have Marissa West, who is the owner of Legends Bar and Grill in South Moorhead, who will be speaking on behalf of a number of folks this evening. So with that, I want to give her adequate time to share her thoughts. Madam City Clerk, if you could please set the timer to 6 minutes. And then we have 15 minutes allotted if there are any other citizens that wish to be heard. We can look at that, but I want to make sure that Marissa West, she's the one person who has identified herself as wishing to be heard, and we give her that time. So, Ms. West, are you online?
Yep. Can you hear me?
We might want to, if you could speak up a little bit louder, that might be appreciated.
Can you hear me now?
Much better.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
And I have six minutes?
Floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, members. Thank you, members of the board. We appreciate the opportunity to be heard. We are desperate to break the silence and speak on behalf of several local small businesses in the hospitality industry. Please help us. Our governor's decision to pause our industry, along with shutting down gyms and sports, cannot be justified any longer without help. Our community needs these businesses and gathering places to reopen in order to survive both mentally and financially. I understand the reason for the pause. However, North Dakota's numbers are declining and they are not shut down. So shutting down our gathering places is not the best answer. We cannot be held to the Metro's numbers. We are not equals. That's why we call ourselves Greater Minnesota. And it is North Dakota that we need to be compared to. We are neighbors and we need to be led together through this pandemic. When our industry was paused, the world did not stop moving. It did not encourage our community to stay home. It has increased all travel to the Fargo area, thus overpopulating every bar, restaurant, shopping center, and coffee shop, especially over the holidays. Instead of increasing human density in all of these places, thus increasing COVID in the FM area, why not consider opening everything up so that we can spread our people throughout the community and truly slow the spread? If it is actually about socially distancing ourselves, then how is it safer to shop at Menards, Walmart, and the grocery store where hundreds of people touch all the same items? And that is considered safer than patronizing our bars and restaurants where tables are 6 feet apart, beverages are served in separate glasses, and food on separate plates. We have always been held to a higher standard, as we should. But with COVID, we increased our measures tenfold. Our customers wear masks upon entry, and while passing others, have even awkwardly stopped greeting friends and family with hugs and handshakes because it is unsafe. Why can't our customers have the same options they do at these stores? They can either understand the risk and enter masked up, or be served curbside through online services. That is all we are asking. Give our people the option. We continually reshift and rebuild our business structure and behavior for this community, just as requested, and just so we can operate. And Minnesota weather is not supportive of patio-only service. In the 20 years we've spent in this business, I've never felt such exhaustion. We work 10 times harder to support curbside for a fraction of what our business actually needs to survive. We have no other options. With just under 50 employees to support, and that's just our 2 locations, not including all the others or all of our families, we will lose all of our people that we continue to invest in, and they continue to invest in our community. These people are crucial to our essential business, because now they will need to consider working in Fargo to make ends meet, and it's beyond frustrating. If we are truly in this together, then why are we the only businesses shut down? How is it possible to deem our business unessential when for many, it is essential to survive? Consider this at the very least. The potential long-term damage to our town will likely be a complete devastation. Think of all the jobs and tax revenue that has been lost or paused, thus putting out our people during the holidays in a state of financial distress. Small business owners, our employees, our families, sales teams, delivery force, food vendors, repair companies, contractors, the rental communities, hockey community, and all our athletes that need to play out their senior year sports because it will play a crucial part of their collegiate career. Yet on the other side of the river, life as they know it continues for all the working people, for the kids that are still in school and the sports that are still gathering. For reference, if my location was just 10 blocks west in North Dakota, I would still be able to make rent and payroll, as well as have access to over $360,000 more dollars available as a result of being economically damaged from COVID. If we are in this together, then why are some families going without a paycheck while others are not? Why are some industries struggling while others are on the rise? If this continues, it will crush this town and Moorhead small business forever. The cost that small businesses endure when the governor's dial doesn't turn is immeasurable. We have done everything asked. We've shifted gears and stepped up every level of health and safety for our people. But we are running out of the financial ability to continue, as well as faith that we're really in this together. Once the threads of this community now feels like complete isolation, and it doesn't make sense. Please help us take care of our people. They need us now more than ever. Lastly, for many of us, this is our livelihood, and the hospitality industry has in fact impacted countless lives. We've supported every demand put upon us when the pandemic started 9 months ago, with 2 shuts down, increased restrictions to operate, and have since been in survival mode. Please allow us to operate with the highest level of health, safety, and protection as we've been and will continue to. We're not denying that COVID is real. In fact, we've lost 2 loved ones to COVID. But closing down the hospitality industry isn't saving lives, it's crushing. We do not want Moorhead to die. And right now the decision made by our leaders is encouraging us to not do business in Moorhead. As the leaders of our city, the city I choose to live and do business, I'm asking you to help. I'm asking you to stand up for our community and the 42,000 people who call Moorhead, Minnesota home. How about we choose to be that courageous community that lived up to the core values they promised their citizens? Values of integrity, service, and commitment. We require a personal commitment from each staff member and elected official to work together and develop efficient, enduring processes to achieve common goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. West, for your passionate words and for sharing that with the council and the public. Are there any other citizens that wish to be heard during this time? Hearing none, Acting City Manager Molly, I know typically we do not have staff comment during this time, but I think as it pertains to this particular issue, if you have any information that you wish to share with Ms. West or the public, you can do that at this time.
Yes, Mayor, I'm happy to. Thank you for the opportunity. And this was something that we were that I intended to bring up during the city manager updates, but since the issue is right in front of us at the moment, we figure we might as well right now. So we are aware that Minnesota lawmakers have brokered a deal or some sort of agreement today whereby $216 million, a COVID relief business relief package, which will provide direct grants to businesses and a 13-week extension for unemployment benefits for those in greatest need. So we'll be hearing more about that if not the coming hours, tomorrow. So that's a good thing. One thing that I heard Ms. West talk about as well is all of us doing our part with what we can. And this was a question that Councilmember Seljevold had brought up a few weeks ago as well, if there's anything that we could do here. We see that these businesses are in hard times, especially restaurants, bars, gyms, and venues, those that are closed, where we're trying to mitigate the risk that occurs when large numbers of people come together. And so what we're working on as a staff is a refund related to the licenses to be in business, 6 months, and then have also spoken with Travis Schmidt at Moorhead Public Service related to the water utility and other city utilities, wastewater, streetlights, and the like, and offering 6 months relief on that as well. We had a conversation with County Administrator Steve Larson today, and we are working on that. And we expect this would be operational moves that we would like to make in the coming week. Just want you to be aware of that, in addition to what's happening at the state and potentially in the federal government. Hopefully there's some real relief that can keep these businesses alive, thriving, making it through the hard time, make it through the holiday seasons, and get us to the other side of this.
Thank you, Acting City Manager Molly, for that update on this particular item. And so to Ms. West, I want you to know that we are listening, and that we have engaged in providing information regarding these stories to our electeds down in St. Paul and at the state, as well as our electeds here locally, about working to get economic relief for the businesses. I want you to know, obviously, that we know and we're well aware that there is a disparity in the businesses that are personally being affected. And that was a discussion that was had this morning at the West Central Initiative Board meeting, that as in greater Minnesota, we have to pay particular attention to the fact that the pandemic, and because we are a border city, does have an adverse effect on our businesses, and it creates dynamics that obviously are much different than those businesses the closer you get to the Twin Cities area. So again, I've been in contact with Acting City Manager Molly. I'm talking to DMI CEO Derek LaPointe. I've also talked to the liaison for Governor Walz's office about telling your story as well as the story of other businesses. And I can tell you that we are going to keep moving forward and providing the information so that we can get the relief that I know you and other businesses deserve. So thank you for being here this evening. Thank you for sharing your story. And obviously, the lines of communication, if we hear anything regarding this package, are open, and we will be in contact with you when we hear more about that. So thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I have a minute?
Who is the individual?
It's Cody Barr.
Yep, Cody, yep, if you wish to be heard, we've got approximately 3 minutes, if you want to use that.
I don't need 3 minutes. I would like to tell you to tell me, so the relief fund is what, $216 million? Have any of you divided that out and realized how much that would give each one of us?
Well, I personally have not, because we literally just got the information shortly before the council.
Right, but we've heard this well before now. And 216,000 does nothing for us. Or 216 million does nothing for us divided out. So this is ridiculous. This is the feedback we're getting from you guys, is that we're gonna get some relief fund, maybe? And what could that be? $10,000 establishment? So obviously, you guys don't know the kind of pressure that we're under, but you didn't bring up one thing that would help our employees for the last shutdown.
Well, again, Mr. Parr, there are things that we at a local level that we can control. There are certain things that we can't, and when we're talking about employees, we can advocate, but again, without being able to have the power to pass the legislation that directly helps the employees, I mean, at this point, all we can do is provide the information to the legislature with the hope that they will take that into consideration. The only thing, the one thing that I can say that I have read as a part of this package is in regards to unemployment insurance. But again, I have not seen or read the bill. I don't know what that entails, but all I have is a 10,000-foot ceiling level of what they're working towards. But again, once we get more information, I'm sure Acting City Manager Molly and Mr. LaPointe from DMI, once we get more into the weeds as far as what that bill entails, once it is passed, we can pass that on if we hear anything. Okay. All right, well, thank you again, folks. And again, I want you to know that, once we get the information, we'll get that to you as soon as we can. But thank you for being here tonight, and I want you to know, I mean, we are listening, and we're telling your story as best that we can. Thank you. Okay, everybody, for those at home, we're moving into agenda item number 9, which is a public hearing regarding the 2021 Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan draft. And with that, I'll take a motion to go into public hearing.
Second?
Motion's been made by Councilmember Durand and seconded by Councilmember Watson Curry. Any discussion before we go into public hearing? Hearing none. Madam Clerk?
Dahlquist,
Yes.
Watson Curry,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Durand,
Yes.
Hendrickson,
Aye.
Seljevold,
Aye.
Lindas.
Yes.
Motion carries. We are in public hearing.
Excellent. Can everyone hear me fine?
Yep.
Hi, thank you for having me this evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. I'm Joshua Huffman, the Community Development Program Administrator. This is a public hearing only. The Mayor and City Council are asked to receive public comments on the 2021 Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan. Throughout the duration of this, I'll refer to that as CDBG, just to keep it easy and not twist my tongue too much. Formal consideration of this plan is scheduled for January 11th, 2021. The city has developed its CDBG Annual Action Plan as part of its corresponding 5-year plan as required by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Citizen participation includes a 30-day comment period, which we're currently in the middle of, ends January 2nd, 2021. A public hearing that we're having tonight, and again, final plan approval by City Council, hopefully January 11th, 2021. The 2021 Annual Action Plan draft is consistent with the 5-year 2020 through 2024 consolidated plan, and it is recommended that the City of Moorhead continues to invest CDBG resources in the following activities. The first, program administration, which would be staff support for planning, implementation, reporting, and monitoring of CDBG resources, as well as support for the Moorhead Human Rights Commission. The draft budget is $83,360. Next activity is home rehabilitation loan program. This is our longest existing program. It is a citywide rehabilitation loan program that assists owner occupants of single-family homes whose income falls below 80% of area median income. For that, it is budgeted $220,000. Next activity is capital improvements for public rental housing. Assist in rehabilitation of an affordable rental housing development, including sidewalk repair and replacement at Clay County Housing and Redevelopment Authority's Fieldcrest Townhomes. These repairs are critical for tenants, emergency responders, staff, and guests. Improvements would preserve building property and enhance livability for residents, staff, and visitors. The city's CDBG recommended investment of $71,500 would be used as a match to leverage additional public and private funding to complete that rehabilitation. The Housing Redevelopment Authority was notified very recently that they were awarded funding for this project through other sources as well, which was good news. Next activity, acquisition affordable housing. An affordable housing unit will be constructed through a partnership with Habitat for Humanity and/or Cass Clay Community Land Trust. CDBG resources of $25,000 will be used for acquisition and/or site preparation of a lot in new housing subdivision through paying down special assessments for preparation for affordable housing unit for home buyers. Accessibility improvements is the next activity listed, which is to rehabilitate affordable homes, specifically through the construction of accessibility ramps or the addition of assistive devices for households with a member who is disabled. CDBG resources would be used for construction materials and assistive devices and/or labor. That is budgeted at $7,400. For public services, the budget is $35,000. It's made up of a couple of different activities. The first is recreational programming through the Parks Department at Romkey Park. This activity would provide programming, meal and/or activities for youth in low-income neighborhoods, and again, conducted by the Parks Department of Moorhead. Mobile recreation for youth is another public service activity. This is recreation opportunities in Moorhead's Queens, Bellesley, and Stonewall parks. by means of the Boys and Girls Club of the Red River Valley's Play Outside Daily Truck, which is staffed with by recreation leaders and filled with play equipment. The truck travels to metro area parks that do not have regular youth programming. Also under the public service is the Opportunities Under Transit, which is a discounted bus pass voucher program for persons who are homeless or extremely low income, which is defined by less than 30% of median income, to provide transportation to and from employment or job training. This is run by Matt Bus, and that's budgeted at $10,200. Homebuyer Education is an education program to inform consumers on what they can afford in a home, how to qualify for a mortgage, and how to be a responsible homeowner. It's a metro-wide area program offered by Lakes and Prairies Community Action Partnership, where at least 51% of the clients served by the city's resources must be low to moderate income persons. That is budgeted at $5,200. And lastly, under public services, we have the youth program through our partnership with Afro-American Development Association. This is youth programming for individuals that are age 14 to 24. Programming helps to shape a positive future through discovering unique talents and abilities, through career exploration, mentoring, sports, supportive services, and post-secondary admission application assistance. Budgeted for that is $6,200. Lastly, on the chart we provided is our contingency funds. These are funds held in contingency for issues which may arise during the program year. That's budgeted at $10,340. There could potentially be adjustments to activities and budgets throughout the year. Reductions to estimated program income or a grant award will first reduce the contingency account that we've established within the plan. If the reduction exceeds the contingency account, the acquisition activity would be reduced. And if the reduction exceeds the contingency account and the acquisition activity, the capital improvements activity would be reduced. Or the city would conduct a plan amendment after public notification. Revenue received that exceeds estimated program income or a grant award larger than expected would be applied to home rehabilitation loans, or again, the city would conduct a plan amendment after public notification. Funds allocated to home rehabilitation projects not underway by June 30th of the program year may be redirected to blight removal activities, and fluctuations greater than 25% of activity budgets will require a plan amendment with a 30-day public comment period. For financial considerations during the 2021 program year, we estimate the following resources to be available. We're estimating that the 2021 CDBG allocation from HUD to be $266,803. We're using a very conservative program income estimate of $151,392. And then lastly, $34,405 of 2021 unobligated funds at 2020 year end, with a total budget of $452,600. The actual award from HUD may be greater or less than what is projected. Again, significant fluctuations will be addressed in a future plan amendment. Other leverage resources are anticipated during 2021 to address needs identified within the consolidated plan from Minnesota Housing Finance Agency, Greater Minnesota Housing Fund, West Central Initiative, United Way, and others. While the 2021 activities are not specifically designed for COVID-19 response, the activities are benefiting people most impacted by the pandemic. And as a side note, the city has been allocated CARES Act Round 3 CDBG coronavirus funds, and we will be presenting a draft expenditure plan for those to the council in the near future. At this point, if there are any comments or questions, we're open.
Thank you, Josh, for that report. I think what we'll do, unless there's anyone that's here for the public comment portion, we'll open up for the public comment. And then if council has any specific questions relating to the report, we'll engage in discussion when we go back to vote on the resolution. So I'll ask, have we received anyone in particular that wishes to be heard on this comment, either by phone or electronic? Acting City Manager Molly or Madam Clerk Rest.
So we do not have anyone on the line at this time, Mayor, but there was a letter of support for the plan, and perhaps more impactful, a message of hope from Barbara Simpson. And I thought maybe I just mentioned it was a detailed letter, but in part of it, it says, "It is extremely important to point out that most of the housing and youth-related activities cited within the plan would not have happened without extensive collaboration and cooperation, which was instigated and nurtured by Community Development Program Administrator Josh Huffman and supported enthusiastically by the community. There are no silos." And later in the letter, it says, "So congratulations to everyone involved. It is great to have a plan which allows us to enter the new year with so much positivity and, most importantly, hope. Thank you, Mayor and City Council members, for your time and, more important, your support of this plan. Barbara Simpson."
Great, thank you for sharing that, and thank you, Ms. Simpson, for writing in and sharing your thoughts on this. So I'll ask, just because it's a matter of protocol, is there any other member of the public that wishes to be heard on this hearing? Then with that, I'll ask for a motion to take us out of public hearing.
So move, Carlson.
Second, Chuck.
Well, initially, I think we'll go ahead and move. Thank you, folks, for participating. I think Councilmember Durand and Councilmember Watson Curry thought they were getting all the work up here, so thank you for that. Madam City Clerk, do you have that a motion and second?
Councilmember Durand was sitting next to me, so I heard her first, and then I will go with the second by Shelley Carlson.
Okay. You're kind of the referee on this, so I'll let you go ahead and do your work. Thank you.
Dahlquist,
Yes.
Watson Curry,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Durand,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Lindas,
Yes.
Hendrickson,
Aye.
Seljevold.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. And then we do not have a resolution or any action item here. Okay, I just want to make clear, because I wasn't missing anything. And I think it's important also, if we can note, that there were a few council members that also wanted to thank Josh for his great work on this as well. So just so you're aware, Mr. Huffman, that the council is greatly appreciative of your work in putting together this plan. So thank you. We move on to item number 10 on the agenda, another public hearing. This one in regards to the request of the North Moorhead Village LLC for a multifamily residential property tax exemption for a project located at 2751 8th Avenue North with a parcel number 58.900.0220. Is there a motion to take us into public hearing?
Hendrickson, so moved.
Second, Seljevold.
Did I win that one?
You got it, Councilmember Hendrickson.
All right, for the win, Hendrickson. Dahlquist,
Yes.
Watson Curry,
Yes.
Durand,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Seljevold,
Aye.
Hendrickson,
Aye.
Lindas.
Yes.
Motion carries. We are now in public hearing, and Mr. Lapointe.
Members of the council, we have Ted Goldsman, who I think is on the line here as the project representative. So if you have any questions for him, feel free to ask. But in general, this is a request for our multifamily housing property tax exemption. It's to construct a new 46-unit, 3-story affordable multifamily housing apartment complex. It'll have outside covered parking, approximately $4.2 million project. So it's a substantial project. It's going to add some affordable housing to our community. With our multifamily housing incentive program, there's kind of two different terms of exemption, a 4-year and a 2-year. Based on their level of exemption, they would qualify for a 4-year, but there is a requirement for underground parking. So with that, they do qualify for a 2-year property tax exemption for, I think, again, a quality project that we'll see in our community. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any question, and I believe Ted is on the line for questions as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lapointe. Mr. Goldsman, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Is there anything that you wish to add to what Mr. Lapointe's already stated? Okay. All right, I just want to make sure, I'm not sure there's a communication, but if there's nothing more to add, what I'll do is I do note Councilmember Dahl. I'm sorry?
Oh, there we go. I'm unmuted. I was just saying Mr. LaPointe covered it perfectly, and if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Great, thank you. What I'll do is, and thank you for being here this evening, by the way. What I'll do is this, I see Councilmember Dahlquist has a question. What I'll do is I'll open it up to the public first. And again, Madam City Clerk, Acting City Manager, do we have any electronic communication, written letters, phone calls regarding anyone that wants to be heard on this particular item?
None, Mayor, other than Ted Goldsman, who is on the line.
Okay. So with that, what I'll do is the Councilmember White also has a hand up. So let's move out of public hearing first. We'll go and transition into the resolution and we'll have comments. Oh, I do see that Mr. Abagaz wishes to have a comment on this item as well. Before we move out of public hearing, we'll allow that to happen. Madam City Clerk, if you could put 3 minutes on the clock, greatly appreciate it. And then Mr. Abagaz, you're up.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. My comment is really a question at the folks presenting and asking the city for an exemption on taxes. How much, what percentage of the units in this complex are going to be affordable housing, and for how long? Asking for, forgiveness in revenues is sort of a big thing. City needs money. We just raised, you're talking about raising people's taxes. That money that we could be getting could be going to that. I hope they, can answer that. We really do need the housing, so I appreciate that, but it would be nice to know how much of that is affordable housing.
Yeah, I'll let Ted answer that question. I will say we have this established policy in place for multifamily. I should note the amount as well. This is a little bit different than our normal property tax exemptions. This is a maximum benefit of estimated to be $37,000 approximately over that 2-year period. So it's really to, and I'll make sure I'm clear, this exemption is really intended to equalize some of the extraordinary costs that we have here in Moorhead regarding to our building codes. So it's really to neutralize some of that additional cost that we see here in Moorhead. So that's what this exact program is intended to do. But Ted, if you have a chance to maybe touch on the number of affordable units you may have and your intentions on that.
Yeah, so thank you for the question. 100% of our units are affordable housing. We have no market rate housing in our project. And in fact, part of our affordable housing, 4 out of the 46 total affordable units are for families transitioning out of homelessness, and 6 of the units are for people with disabilities. So we are, really trying to provide, the best affordable housing we have, and all of our units have an income restriction of 60% of AMI and rent limits of 50% all the way down to 30% of AMI. So we are really trying to make this affordable cost.
Great. Thank you for both of your answers to Mr. Abagaz's question. And I'll look on the line just to make sure, are there any other citizens that wish to be heard on this particular agenda item? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to take us out of public hearing.
Linda so moves.
Carlson, second.
We have a motion and a second to take us out of public hearing. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam City Clerk.
Watson Curry,
Yes.
Dahlquist, Durand,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Lindos,
Yes.
Seldgevold,
Aye.
Hendrickson.
Aye.
Motion carries. We are now out of public hearing. Then there's 10A, the resolution to approve. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
I will move approval.
Motion's made by Councilmember Durand. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Watson Curry. And then I'll open up for discussion. And I see Councilmember Dahlquist. Thank you for being patient. And then Councilmember White.
So I can talk?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, we've been waiting for this to happen for a couple of years, and the Commonwealth company, I was so excited when we first heard about this, and it was way back when I first got on city council. So I'm really excited to hear that it's finally going to be built, and I'm hoping there's some way that we could give them the 4 years. Is there anything that we can do to give them the 4 years of exemption?
I guess I haven't looked into that, quite frankly. That would be a change in our policy. So I suppose if requested, we could certainly kind of look into that. Acting City Manager, do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, that would have to address the policy that's already been approved. So that would be different than what's before you today, that's suggested.
So I think, Councilmember Dahlquist, to your point, if we have a current city policy, and this would have to probably induce a change in that policy, which we would have to probably run through staff and also through City Attorney Shockley. So I think, I don't know if we can answer the question right now until staff and the city attorney have had a chance to address that particular situation. So I think we'll put that in a holding pattern so they can do that, because obviously they're not prepared to address that tonight. So with that, I see Councilmember White, your hand was up. Councilmember Lindos, your hand is up. And Councilmember Durand's hand is up. So we'll go to Councilmember White and we'll move down.
Thank you, Mayor. And I also am very excited about this project, and we know we have such a need for affordable housing. And I appreciate Councilmember Dahlquist's suggestion that, I think just looking for additional ways that we can incentivize these types of projects is really important. My only question was just, I noticed, I was really pleased to see that this plan included some 4-bedroom units, and frankly, when I was trying to count up how many, I couldn't figure it out. And so if you could just let us know, because I know that there's a real need for those units that can accommodate a larger family.
Yeah, so there are 6 total in the building.
I'm sorry, 6? Oh, okay. Good,
Yep.
thank you.
6.
And then Councilmember Lindos, I see your hand is up, and then Councilmember Durand.
Thank you, Mayor Judd. And I guess like my colleagues, I'm excited about this, and they all already asked and had answered questions. So the only thing I would like to add is I'm really excited that your detailed plans include outdoor activation areas that are ADA accessible. I think that's very commendable. And so I'm really excited to see this go forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Lindos. Councilmember Durand.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would just wanted to comment on Councilmember Dahlquist's comment about looking into possible 4-year. I guess I would be concerned that would delay. Would that cause any kind of delay in this project right now?
It would not.
Oh, sorry, Ted, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it would not cause a delay on our end because we are moving to close on financing by April 1st is our intended closing date. But the tax exemption will not hinder our timeline.
Okay, okay,
So, yep.
thank you.
Thank you, Council, for the questions. Is there any other council member before we move to the vote that wish to be heard on this at all? All right, again, this is a very exciting project, so thank you, Mr. Goltzman, for being a part of this. This is great. This is a part of what I think the council's looking at doing for future Moorhead, so thank you for being a part of that. With
Thank
that,
you for having me.
oh, absolutely. So with that, we'll move to a vote. Madam City Clerk, roll call, please.
Not bad.
Before I vote, can I get this clarified then? We can change the policy after we approve this
I'm going to
for
move.
the tax exemption?
I'm going to have to pass it over to our city attorney and acting city manager. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, if directed by the council, we could look at that, yes.
So we can retroact it?
I think you'd probably want to have us explore that prior to, and then maybe we could come back with the project and do the approval for a potential 4-year if that's suitable within the new guidelines of that program, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you know, I mean, so there's a policy in place. There was a reason we'd do the research on it. We'd come back with, if directed, correct? We'd come back with looking into that option and, you know, either an amendment of the policy or an exception for this project, or stay the same.
Okay. Councilmember Durand?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess that kind of concerns me. Changing policies when we have a project that we know is going to go through. You know, and it's a wonderful project, don't get me wrong, but I worry that it looks like we're trying to maybe pamper a project even more. I worry that it would possibly take funds from other good quality projects. You know, there's a reason why we have the policy in place. It's a relatively new policy. So I don't support that course of action.
And I'm not sure where council's at, but I mean, I think this is a reason why we try to discuss these things prior to this point to kind of avoid this particular situation from coming up, because we're asking to make a change in policy that's going to put in extra work for city staff and our city attorney, and we have a project here that's ready to move. So I think these conversations probably need to take place, and they're great ideas. It's a great idea, but I think this should probably have taken place before tonight's meeting. But with that, I see two hands up, Councilmember Carlson and Councilmember White.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to basically concur with what Councilmember Durand was saying. This project has been kind of in the works for a while. Council has known about it for a while. This is kind of the tying of the bow and getting the package ready to get started and the project get ready to started. I would agree that this is kind of the 9th hour, and if it was a policy that needed to be looked at, it probably should have been brought up several council meetings ago when we first started hearing about this project. So similar to Council Durand, I would not be in agreement with having this policy looked at this time.
I think you, Councilmember White, your hand is up. Then we got Councilmember Hendrickson, then Dahlquist.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, this isn't a an idea that occurred to me before, and I'm not sure, it's possible that it just didn't occur to Councilmember Dahlquist before, but it is a really important issue, and so my inclination would be if, as the developer said, it doesn't delay their project at all. I would prefer that we tabled it for 1 month just to allow us the opportunity to explore it. So I fully agree that whenever possible, we should try to respond to these things more promptly, but sometimes if someone comes up with an idea, if it is something that could really benefit the community, in this case, addressing, helping an issue that we know is a very pressing issue within our community, why not just take an extra month if it won't delay the project?
Thank you, Councilmember White. Councilmember Hendrickson and Councilmember Dahlquist.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to chime in, and I agree with Councilmember Durand, Councilmember Carlson. I think it's like Councilmember Carlson said, we're in the 9th hour. We've known about this for a while and should have been brought up earlier. So I just want to say I concur with both of them. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilmember Hendrickson. Councilmember Dahlquist.
I agree this has been in the works for it's almost 2 years, but the tax issue was not until it was put on the agenda. We did not know about the difference between 2 and 4 years, where we had multiple buildings, affordable housing downtown, where we did give them the total, every possible tax break. And this is affordable housing. I don't want to slow up the building. Of course we want this to be built. I'm just saying that maybe we need to look at, when we make it something so specific as parking underground, as opposed to they have parking with garages. That's the only thing. And I would love to give the building as much of a break as we possibly can. And I think that's being equal as the other projects that are downtown. That's the only thing. And if we need to vote on it tonight to get the housing started, I'm for that. I'm just looking for ways to be equitable for all the new buildings that have affordable housing. We need to treat all the projects the same.
Oh, and thank you for sharing that, Councilmember Dahlquist. That is greatly understood. So folks, okay, I want to make sure I see your hand still up. Okay. So folks, I guess we still have a motion that's before us. And Councilmember White, your hand is up.
You have to forgive me for not recalling the parliamentary procedure on this, but I would like to move to table it until our next meeting.
You need a second.
There is a motion to table, and then we need a second in order to proceed.
A second.
Motion on the table has been made and seconded. And there's no, understood, and there's no further debate. So the motion to table passes. I'm sorry. No, there's no vote. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Sorry. We're now voting on the motion to table. Thank you for that clarification. Madam City Clerk. Sorry for the confusion. There's a lot going on here.
I just got to find the right buttons here.
No worries.
Okay, so on the motion to table, I have a first by Deb White, a second by Shelley Dahlquist. Excuse me. Dahlquist?
Yes.
Watson Curry?
No.
Carlson?
No.
Durand?
No.
White?
Yes.
Seljvold? Seljvold? Hendrickson?
No.
Lindas?
Yes.
Did we get Seljevold's vote?
Seljevold? What, sorry?
For the record, is that a thumbs up or down? I didn't see it, sir. And now it froze. All right. All right. So Councilmember Seljevold, is that a yay or a nay?
Sorry, I'm having bad Wi-Fi. Nay.
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 So I have 5 nay, 3 yay. So fail.
So the motion to table fails. Now we have the motion to approve the resolution that is still before us. And for that, we'll have a roll call vote.
Okay, and on the motion to approve, I've got a first by Durand and a second by Watson Curry. Dahlquist?
Yes.
Watson Curry?
Yes.
Carlson?
Yes.
Durand?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Seljevold?
Aye.
Hendrickson?
Aye.
Lindas?
Yes.
Motion carries. And thank you again for being here this evening, Mr. Goldsman, and congratulations, and thank you again for your investment in our city.
Thank you.
All right, folks. Item number 11 on the agenda is a public hearing regarding the request of Custom Express Car Wash for commercial industrial property tax exemption for a project located at 3102 Highway 10 East. Is there a motion to take us back into public hearing?
Lindas moves public hearing.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Madam City Clerk.
Dahlquist?
Yes.
Watson Curry?
Yes.
Carlson?
Yes.
Durand?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Seljevold?
Aye.
Hendrickson?
Aye.
Lindas?
Yes.
Motion carries. We are now in public hearing. Mr. Lapointe, you're back.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. So before you tonight, Jason Gehrig, who I believe is on the call, we'll try to get him up. If not, I'll be happy to try to answer your questions. On behalf of Custom Express Car Wash, is looking to construct a 5,300 square foot building, small office, mezzanine office, half bath, and then obviously the car wash itself. They would have 5 employees at the facility itself. The new value is approximately $750,000. And based on our commercial industrial property tax exemption policy, that new value equates to a 3-year property tax exemption that this project would qualify for. There has been some construction on site as far as demolition, and then if approved here tonight, construction on the building itself would begin later this month or early this year, with completion in July of 2021. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have, and if Jason's on the line, he'll be able to help as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lapointe. And I'm sorry, I didn't catch Jason's last name.
Jason Gehrig.
Gehrig, okay, thank you. Mr. Gehrig, thank you for being here this evening. Is there any other information, any comments you wish to share? I'm just giving a little bit of time here just in case there is a technology issue. Okay.
I know we're a little late too, so people may have had to drop off too. So
No worries at all. Oh, there's a phone call coming in. I'm not sure if that's gonna Let's check to make sure that's not regarding this matter. And I'll look, Madam City Clerk, you aware of anybody that might have chosen to send any comments by electronic means or written letter, phone call? Okay.
As we wait, Mr. Mayor, I might as well just address it too. So many folks recalled the site as the former Altoni's restaurant. So there's obviously been a removal of that business. They have relocated to the former Little Caesars restaurant in town. I will say that I don't know if we know all the details of the transaction that happened at this particular location. But ultimately, there has been a switch in some ownership there, and this is why we have a new project before us. Ultimately, within our policies, this is a valid project to bring forward in an application sense. So I just want to clarify that as well.
Great. Thank you, Mr. LaPointe. Acting City Manager Molly, was that phone call in any relationship to this current agenda item?
That is not related to this agenda item, Mayor.
Okay. So I'm going to assume, since we've had no phone calls, looking at the screen, then what we'll do is we'll move out of public hearing with a motion and a second, and we'll go and have comments for council. Is there a motion to take us out of public hearing?
Lindos moves to out of public hearing.
Second, Hendrickson.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam City Clerk.
Carlson?
Yes.
Watson Curry?
Yes.
Dahlquist?
Yes.
Durand?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Hendrickson?
Aye.
Seljevold? Lindas?
Yes.
Seljevold?
I don't see Councilmember Seljevold on my screen. I cannot hear him if he's voting. So I think what we will do, Mr. City Attorney, if we have a communications or technological snafu where we have a vote, how do you record the vote? I know it's different in certain jurisdictions, but how does this work here?
Well, I guess the first question is that if we can't record it, we probably wouldn't include them in the percentage of the vote.
Okay.
If it requires 2/3, so we just reduce the total amount of votes needed to calculate it. Same with the majority.
Okay.
So if for technical reasons they can't vote, we wouldn't include them in the total number of requirements.
Okay. So for this purpose, we can at least move out of public hearing. Okay. So, Madam City Clerk, you good with that? Yep. Okay, so motion carries. We're now out of public hearing, and we'll move to 11A, which is a resolution to approve the commercial industrial property tax exemption for custom express car wash for a project located at 3102 Highway 10 East. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
Second.
Motion made by Councilmember Durand, seconded by Councilmember Watson Curry. Is there any discussion on this item?
Mr. Mayor, can I make one more point? Because I think it's just really important after I mentioned that kind of brief segment earlier. Councilmember White wrote a message to Acting City Manager and I this morning kind of asking a question about this. I do want to put it on the public record as Altoni's did leave. We did reach out to them. Now, they don't own the facility that they're going to, but we did make them aware of gap financing through our Moorhead Loan Fund, as well as West Central Initiative, and connected them to the SBDC for some business assistance too. So it's not like we just disregarded them. We've been in close contact with that group as they've exited this property.
Okay. Thank you for that update. I know there was some concern about that, so thank you for addressing that and closing that in there. Any further discussion? Councilmember White, your hand is up.
Thanks. Actually, I'll just follow up with that and thank Mr. Lapointe, because I did have that concern. I'd heard from a few residents that they were, concerned about Altoni's having to leave, and it was nice to hear that Mr. Lapointe and Mr. Molly reached out and provided some resources, information about resources, because we value both of these businesses. So, it's good to see Altoni staying here in Moorhead. So thanks, Mr. Lapointe.
Thank you, Councilmember White. And thank you, Mr. Lapointe, for that as well. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. Madam City Clerk.
Dahlquist,
Yes.
Watson Curry,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Durand,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Seljavold, Hendrickson,
Aye.
Lindos.
Yes.
The motion will pass, and just for the record, the voting requirements are 3/4 of council, which is 6, and we have that here. So, motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Garrick, for your investment in our city. Thank you, Mr. Lapointe, for establishing this relationship and for all the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, folks, that takes us down to item number 13, the resolution to receive and approve the downtown master plan. And that is also Mr. Lapointe.
Yeah, you're not done with me yet. Sorry.
No, absolutely. Never.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. These last few weeks have kind of really torn me. Obviously, we're trying to help businesses so much, and so much of just supporting what we have and how we move forward as a city. So it's really weighing on my mind. But I'm excited tonight because 15 months of really extensive work and ultimately a ton of public engagement that resulted in hundreds of people attending open houses and events that we held, pop-up events, 700 people plus that participated in online surveys. That was residents throughout our community here, business owners, et cetera. This downtown master plan that we embarked on was truly a grassroots plan that was driven by the public. So I'm extremely proud of that. Before I get too far into it, I just want to make aware too, and hopefully we can get her up. Beth Elliott from Stantec, our primary consultant group on the plan, is with us here tonight to answer questions or fill in anything I may miss. But in short, Stantec's done a phenomenal job in assisting us. We had local sub-consultants in Land Elements, which is now Confluence, the Kilbourne Group, and Folkways. So great local ties to our community. We worked extensively through the 15-month period. We did present to the DMI board, the City Council, Moorhead EDA, Planning Commission, Arts and Culture Commission, and city staff on Friday, December 4th, where we did record that video. So that is online at dtmoorhead.org. So go check out the full plan and the recording of that presentation if you want to get in-depth information. But some of the highlights of it, some of the goals that we were trying to accomplish now and moving forward is, being authentic, a center of community that celebrates Moorhead's distinct story, vibrant, equitable, and inclusive, resilient, connected. We also have some next steps, some key initiatives and goals that we're really going to work on. Placemaking being one of them, simple things that we can do, and we're already looking at groups like Folkways and others that, and even Moorhead Business Association doing Frostival events, et cetera. There's lots of opportunities to take tired places in our downtown and reinvent them. Moorhead Center Mall was such a big part of this. The building that we're standing in, certainly the existing ownership that's here, working with the Roars Group on the master development agreement that we have. We heard tremendous amount of feedback from the public, and that I don't think has gone away over the number of years that I've been engaged and throughout history here in Moorhead. People want to see change within this facility, and I think we have some ability to assist our businesses here, but also find a place and create a place that will be vibrant for years to come. The 11th Street underpass, a huge undertaking to take on this underpass. We got funding, committed from the state, but ultimately there's a lot of work to be done with design elements, making sure that we're connected through downtown, not just through vehicular traffic, but pedestrians and bikes and getting to our good businesses like Van A and Junkyard, Soul Avenue, Harold's, you name it, up and down that corridor there. We don't want to isolate those folks. And then ultimately some lower hanging fruit that could be design guidelines. That's looking at our zoning district, looking at our policies from an economic standpoint, our open space network. And I know one that our acting city manager stresses a lot on is our activation to the river. How do we celebrate the river, because it is such a big asset for us here in Moorhead. So it's, again, very, very humbled to be a part of this process. We are very grateful to the partnership that we had with the city on this. This is I'll say, a unique endeavor that we had, because us as Downtown Moorhead Inc. Were the primary kind of contract holders with Stantec and our subconsultants. And ultimately we had funding and partnership with the city. So this has been driven by Downtown Moorhead Inc. in partnership with the city. I think our partnership has been pretty spectacular over the last few years. And I look forward to really starting the work now and the implementation of this plan. We've had some initial conversations of creating some type of small task force, an implementation task force, getting members from the arts group, business, climate, residents, et cetera, getting a small group that can meet on a maybe quarterly basis to make sure that we're staying on track with some of these goals, being flexible if we need to create changes within the document. This plan is really intended to be a foundation piece, but it's also not supposed to be rigid in knowing that changes come throughout time, pandemic being one of them, right? So we have to be flexible and be willing to kind of work as we evolve as a community as well. So Beth, I know you're on. If you have anything I missed, we are grateful for your leadership and your team's approach, but anything I missed or anything you want to add?
Thank you. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. Derek, what I want to particularly emphasize is that it has been such a collaborative effort and a pleasure to work with DMI and your city staff. It was not just fun, but I felt like we got the best of everybody and the best of the public as we strategized the best way to revitalize downtown. So I think Derek hit all the points. I will say that we were quite deliberative about having a critical path for each of the strategies. Step 1, step 2, step 3. A big part of the plan also is a funding strategy with a variety of funding sources. So we want this to be something that is achievable.
Thank you, Beth. And I'll just stress 2 more things before I pass it over for any comments. One, the Moorhead EDA last week unanimously approved the plan, recommending approval here to City Council. That was on December 7th, and that same evening, December 7th, Downtown Moorhead Inc. met as a board, and we approved the plan as well. So we have those 2 entities that have approved it. And again, for the public that is watching, dtmoorhead.org is where you can find all the plan information. I know we're going to make a segmented plan website for the city, so we can house it there. And we also have that video from that presentation, not only on the website that I referenced, but I believe it's also on the city's YouTube channel. So if that's an easier place to find it, go to the city's YouTube to watch a half-hour video of more in-depth kind of analysis of the plan itself. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. LaPointe. Thank you, Ms. Elliott, for all of your work as well. I wanted to apologize that I was tardy to the presentation, and I did not get a chance to specifically thank you publicly for the hard work that you and your team of experts have put in. I've read the plan. It is definitely personal to the city. The relationships that Stantec has built with the city to come up with that plan is just completely amazing. So thank you for your work and your team's work in doing that.
Thank you, Mayor.
And with that, I'll pass it over to Councilmember Watson Curry. to share some comments.
Yeah, thank you. I did get to listen to the full presentation, so I just wanted to put it on record here too, is I loved the multimodal transportation woven into this. And I think in general, these long-term plans really excite me because, I mean, who doesn't love a master plan? But it's really provides that stability and steady direction for the city and for future council members and staff. So I just think that's really great. And then Derek, just to pivot off you two, you said it's not necessarily rigid, right? It's going to be responding to other things as well. But this just dovetails so nicely with the River Corridor Master Plan and all of the other things that we have. So we have a real vision. We're not just pulling these things out of thin air, and so it's really fantastic. So anyway, woot woot.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a great process. I know Stantec has also been hired for the comprehensive plan, so familiar with our community. So I think it's a great natural fit for continued progression. Yeah, I'm excited about this.
Thank you. Councilmember Dahlquist, I see your hand is up.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I really do appreciate all the work and that's gone into this master plan. The thing that worries me is the Woodlawn Point section, which everybody knows that's how I feel about it. As long as we have options and are not having any kind of permanent plan for the Woodlawn, I'm fine with okaying the master plan. My concerns are geological for that area. Also, it's a residential area, so I would like us to just spend more time before we make any plans for the Woodlawn Point. But the downtown, I think, is beautiful. So I just feel like the Woodlawn Point area should be available to the public. And as long as we keep that open, I'm with the downtown plan.
Thank you, Councilmember Dahlquist, and I completely agree. I want to make a couple points. One, the reason why it's in the plan itself is it was a part of our original scope and project details that the EDA Council and DMI Board approved. But this plan obviously takes a lot of the public engagement that was done throughout our process. It also doesn't commit to anything as well, because we know that during our process of this plan, we had formal conversations here as a council, and in this plan itself, it clearly notes that the council has the ultimate authority of this area. It certainly just kind of takes in a lot of that feedback, but it doesn't, to your point, it doesn't put in a set stone that this has to be there. It very well could be green space. That decision and ultimately guidance for the future is rests with the council. So thank you for your comment.
Thank you, Councilmember Dahlquist, and thank you, Mr. LaPointe. So any other further comments, questions from council? Hearing, seeing none, we'll ask for a motion to approve the resolution.
Lindas moved approval.
Second.
Madam Clerk, you got the folks?
Yes.
Any further discussion?
I just have to say it. So stay tuned, presenting to MBA. So if business owners want to hear more about it, I'm presenting on Wednesday. The Chamber of Commerce here locally did a thing. So social media, there's going to be about a 20-minute segment that'll be broadcasted tomorrow about the plan. So we're getting a lot of great media attention about this. We certainly look to you as a council and continued partnership with staff to implement this. So again, just thank you. It's been a really great process, so thank you all.
Thank you. All right, roll call vote, please.
Dahlquist?
Yes.
Watson Curry?
Yes.
Carlson?
Yes.
Durand?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Seldgevold?
Aye.
Hendrickson?
Aye.
Lindas?
Yes.
Motion carries, and we got you, Councilmember Seldgevold.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, folks. So I believe that moves us to item number 21 on the agenda under Community Development Department. This is a resolution to approve a conditional use permit to allow a wireless telecommunication tower at 1700 First Avenue South. I'm not sure who was going to bring this one up, Mr. Malley?
That's me, Mr. Mayor. I'm just trying to start my video.
Oh, no worries. Thank you, Ms. Houston. Thank you for being here.
That came up on me fast. I was waiting, and I didn't think I was right after Derek. I thought I still had an engineering project before me, so I apologize.
Oh, no worries at all. I want to make sure, let me make sure now, because I see all these asterisks with, yep, I think it's you. Yep.
Okay. Well, before you tonight is a resolution for a conditional use permit for a wireless cell phone tower at 1700 First Avenue South. And this tower was actually already approved once back in 2017. It was originally denied in 2016, but then the city, there was some pending litigation, so the city reconsidered it, and then they did reconsider it and approved it. Unfortunately, the company that was granted the permit did not build it within the time frame of the permit, so it expired. So now Verizon Wireless is the new applicant requesting a permit for the same location. It's an 85-foot tall tower, and it's the same specs as the last time around. The applicant's representative, Mr. Robert Vieira, is on the call, and as is our third-party consultant, Mr. Garrett Lizak. He is the engineer that did our third-party review of the application to make sure that it addressed our city ordinance, which it did. And the Planning Commission did recommend approval with a 4-to-1 vote. That includes my comments, but I'd be happy to answer any questions, as would, I'm sure, the applicant and the third-party consultant.
Houston, and thank you, Mr. Vieira and Mr. Lizak, for being here this evening as well. So do we have any comments or questions from council? I see Councilmember White, your hand is up.
Thank you, Mayor. I watched the Planning Commission meeting, and I know that there were some residents with concerns, and I just wanted to touch on a few of the things that were, in some cases, just dispelled too. So am I correct that there is no plans of making this a 5G tower? So it's just it's a 4G tower, and it's beyond even the minimum distance that to a residential property, right? And just in general, we have to comply with the federal guidelines, and there really isn't any conclusive evidence right now that there is a danger posed by 5G. And that's not even something that is being suggested at this time, right?
Mr. Mayor, that is correct. 4G and it's the closest residential zone is more than 500 feet away.
Okay. Thank you for the question, Councilmember White. Thank you for the clarity, Ms. Houston. Any other questions or comments on this particular topic? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Motion's made by Councilmember Watson Curry. Is there a second?
Second, White.
Seconded by Councilmember White. Any further discussions? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Dahlquist,
Yes.
Watson Curry,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Durand,
Yep.
White,
Yes.
Seljevold,
Aye.
Hendrickson,
Aye.
Lindos.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, folks. Number 24, we're looking at the first reading of ordinance 2020-15, an ordinance to amend and reenact section 3-7-1 and 3-7-9 of the Moorhead City Code relating to animal control definitions and prohibited acts and conditions. And I'm assuming Acting City Manager Molly.
Yeah, well, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. I will introduce, I think Tori Jacobson was going to be here. Is that you, Tori, or I see Chief Monroe's name on the screen? This is tied to the Wildlife Management Plan, which was in the packet tonight, and I'll turn it over.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. This proposal tonight for the amendment to the ordinance is a result of the Wild Turkey Management Plan that we worked on over the last year. In January of 2020, we had a well-attended community stakeholder input session at the council chambers with property owners, educators, and wildlife enthusiasts. And this was the single largest takeaway from that, the support for restricting feeding of wild turkeys. So the ordinance proposal would be to address where we previously were speaking specifically of feeding of deer, changing that to wildlife, and then describing the feed being food that's put outside on the ground below 5 feet. And then wildlife, undomesticated animals living in the wild.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Jacobson, for that. Do we know that Councilmember Watson Curry wishes to comment on that?
My legacy. I'm just kidding. I do think this is a fascinating topic as it has captured the public's attention. And there was a very intense public outreach on this activity, actually, if you can believe it. It was about a year ago, January of this year. We had, I think, 70 people who came in these chambers when that was something that could happen, and had a very robust and passionate discussion about their love or hate of turkeys. And there was, I'm sorry, I'm feeling a little punchy here in the third hour. My apologies, I digress. However, there was a common understanding that really some of the issues that these animals were creating is because they were being fed. And these beautiful animals are, they are wild, and there is plenty of food available for them within, along the river corridors, and they will be take advantage of any additional feed and then reproduce into flocks that are a little bit unmanageable. In my own neighborhood, we have a number of flocks, and in my own neighborhood, I've seen them chase my poor mailman in the past. They are behaving currently, but this is meant to deter the false inflation of these numbers for these animals. So we're not doing anything to harm them. We're simply protecting their wild beauty. Hope that makes sense.
Makes sense, Councilmember Watson Curry. Are there any other questions or comments that folks have on this particular agenda topic? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 2020-15?
So moved, Carlson.
Is there a second?
Second.
White seconds, White. Oh, Sara Watson Curry second.
Madam Clerk, you got it?
Got it.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none. Madam City Clerk.
Dahlquist?
Yes.
Watson Curry?
Yes.
Carlson?
Yes.
Durand?
Yep.
White?
Yes.
Selgevold?
Aye.
Hendrickson?
Aye.
Lindos?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, folks. All right. Now we're jumping down for those at home, agenda item number 36, which is the approval of the 2021 tax levy and budget for the Economic Development Authority and the 2021 tax levy, budget, and capital improvement plan for the city of Moorhead. Acting City Manager Molly, I will turn this over to you.
Thank you, Mayor. So at this point, this is when we want you to be thinking, how many times are we going to have to talk about this budget? So, so I don't plan to have it be here for too much. This is where we vote on the tax levy and the budget and the like. In the big picture, our motivation always was to maintain essential services, to take care of our employees, and do it in a balanced budget framework with an ultimate goal of making Moorhead the place where people want to be. And so with that, I want to thank you for your support in this budget process. I really mean that. As staff, we felt that this was a team effort. We felt all the way that we were working on it together, and we're grateful during times of real challenge and hardship. The budget has a minimal effect on the tax rate, and frankly, this is where Moorhead can and does truly shine. This is a resilient place. We have a strong residential tax base, and the one observation I would make is that, heading into the new year, we continue this focus on increasing the number of commercial and industrial property uses to ensure parity among that residential and commercial tax base for the great homeowners and residents and kids that go to school and use the parks and all of that kind of stuff. So with that, we present the 2020 budget to you for approval.
Thank you, Acting City Manager Molly. Thank you again to your staff for all of the work, and also thank you to council for having very candid conversations and discussions about moving forward on this. I know we put in a lot of work and time and discussion, so greatly appreciate everyone's efforts to get us to this point. Mr. City Attorney Shockley, can we take A and B together? Thank you. So with that, folks, is there a motion to approve resolutions A and B?
Approval of both A and B.
Thank you.
Henriksen, I'll second.
It was already seconded, I believe.
I'll take it back if somebody wants to second it.
Too late now.
All right, so, Madam City Clerk, unless there's any further discussion.
Dahlquist,
Yes.
Watson Curry,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Durand,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Seldgevold,
Aye.
Hendrickson,
Aye.
Lindas.
Yes.
Motion carries. Just want to make sure I'm having some technological, it says the speaker's microphone is off, but my microphone is on. So I want to make sure everybody's mics are on. Okay.
Ms. Durand's mic was off.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, thank you. I'm not the problem. All right. So we're down to item number 39, Mayor and Council reports. And I don't have my WebEx screen up. I've got a picture of us, so I'm going to just look and see. Wait, now it's coming back. There we go. Now I can see hands. So Councilmember Dahlquist, your hand is up.
I just want to tell everyone about a wonderful young woman in Moorhead who won a place in the 2021 calendar, national calendar, Lillian, for Don Bacon, the head of Moorhead Public Housing, had brought it back to our attention, and she's been in the news. It's really exciting. I don't know if I can take this for my own to brag about, but we did hear about Dr. Bob Zimmerman winning the Engineer of the Year Award for Minnesota, which is exciting. And I know there was something else I was going to bring up, but I can't remember, but I'm sure someone else will pick it up.
Thank you, Councilmember Dahlquist, and congratulations to our resident for that accomplishment. That's a pretty big deal to have a Moorhead youth being actively involved in expressing herself through her art. So that's great to hear. Thank you. Any council member wish to bring anything for a report this time? Councilmember Hendrickson, your hand is up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to take this opportunity to thank us, Councilmember Sara Watson-Curry and Councilmember Heidi Durand on their work with the council. And you know, without you two, we wouldn't be this far. So I really appreciate your service to the city of Moorhead, and you know, hopefully we'll see you around. And Heidi, we've been through some times. So and you know, you've been on the council for 9 years, and I've been on for 7. So I've served the longest with you, and I appreciate your camaraderie and your service and your friendship. So thank you both.
Thank you, Councilmember Hendrickson. Councilmember Carlson, your hand is up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Hendrickson beat me to it, but I just wanted to also publicly thank Councilmember Durand and Councilmember Watson-Curry. I've learned a lot from both of them, particularly though Councilmember Durand, since she is my other Ward 2 counterpart. Thank you so much for your leadership and for giving so much to the city and for really truly embodying what it means to be a leader in our community. We wish you both the best of luck, and I know that we will continue to see you doing great things in the city. Thank you both.
Thank you, Councilmember Carlson. Councilmember Lindos, your hand is up.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't know if there's anything I can add, except for to say as a new council member, I've experienced both your help, but also patience, and I appreciate that. I'm sure that we're not going to, well, I'm sure we're going to continue seeing your presence and feeling your contributions, and then that brings into the whole aspect of the Moorhead downtown plan and moving into the strategic development process. I think moving forward, we have really created an ability for community members to contribute. And although we've had great contributions and involvement by the community in the Moorhead downtown plan, I know we can increase those numbers. And I would encourage people to look for and take advantage of all of those opportunities. Because when I look at the downtown plan, you had me at clean, green, and community for the future. So I'm excited about what we have going forward.
Thank you, Councilmember Lindos. Anyone else wish to share anything? Any final thoughts or words with your final reports? Councilmember Watson-Curry, Councilmember Durand? Okay. Well, I guess I will say a few words here. I mean, again, I can belabor this, but I won't in the essence of time. Again, I've only sat here now for roughly 2 years, and you both have educated me in not only the city and how things work and your philosophies, but I've also really been educated on how to be a leader. And the one thing that I do appreciate from both of you is the fact that, you know, if there was anything that we didn't agree with, we sat down and we talked it out and we figured it out. I mean, it's one of those situations where that's what we are supposed to do as leaders, is to work through and figure out what's best for the residents. And I appreciate both of you holding me accountable for doing this work. And also I appreciate the fact that, you know, the conversations that that all of us grow within each other as people. And so I really appreciate your willingness to be vulnerable and share those ideas and those thoughts with me. And that's what makes us all great and better people and leaders. With that, I just want to address briefly, and a brief report, I do appreciate the amount of public involvement and engagement that we've had in a lot of things that we have going on regarding our downtown plan. And I really want to show an appreciation to city staff and the leadership under acting city manager Mal as we wrap up this year, and to council. You know, folks, this is really a tough time for anyone, whether you're at the national, state, and local level, to lead. As you've heard tonight, there's a lot of passionate people doing work in human rights, in the business community, economic development, and the council, and the staff. There's a lot of things that people are looking to juggle. A lot of interests and a lot of things that are passionate to people. People are suffering. And with that, there's a balance, because there's also a lot that the city can celebrate as well. And trying to mitigate things so that we're not leaving anyone behind, I think is a really big focal point that we're trying to look at doing as leaders, and being sensitive to the needs of everyone. And so I think tonight I want to send a special shout out to all of our residents, our council, our city staff, our business community, for those that are serving on boards and commissions. Thank you for doing this work. And honestly, thank you to the families who we're trying our best to advocate for you as well, to make sure that your children live in a safe community. 2020 has been a very interesting year for everyone. But at the end of the day, I'm hoping that folks who come before us as council, folks that are actively involved in the community, know that there are people up here that sit here, people who are working in City Hall, that really truly have your best interests at heart, and that we are listening to you when you tell and share your stories, whether they're things to celebrate or they're things that you're struggling with, that we're here to make the best decisions we can to make sure that Moorhead remains a vibrant, inclusive, and welcoming community for everyone. So as you go into your holiday season, my hope is that you find comfort, and that you find peace, and as you move into 2021, and as things are changing, that we have a brighter future and a vision for what's moving forward and what's going to take place in our city. So thank you all for being a part of that, from the bottom of my heart, and I hope you all remain safe and healthy. So with that, I'll pass over to Acting City Manager Dan Mahler.
Thank you, Mayor. And I just, I guess I can't help but I pile on here. So, I want to thank you for welcoming me into this Moorhead family. One thing that really, as I thought of the both of you, you accomplished so much, and you did that by making the people around you feel valued and respected. That came from longtime residents to people new to the community, from area business and governmental leaders. You did your thing to address issues, to listen, and to help find resolution, and people sought you out for answers. So, including myself, thank you. You did great. And then, the only other thing I really have to say is just in my years of public service, I've had the pleasure to work with a number of truly remarkable individuals, and Steve Moore was one of them. And his last day as the Public Works Director in Moorhead is on Friday. He's going to be going to the school district to head up emergency operations and emergency services, and he's going to do fantastic. And the consolation here is that he's staying in Moorhead and he'll serve this community. But we are going to miss him so much, and just want to say a big thank you to Steve Moore for all he's done. I've decided I'm actually looking at this a little differently. When somebody pays their property tax, they don't assign to the city, the school, and the county, and the such. They pay it, and they expect us all to work together. So I'm just going to keep working together with Steve the way I always have. That's my plan. So, so thank you, Steve Moore. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Acting City Manager Molly. And with that, we are looking at agenda item number 41, which is an executive session. And I think it's probably appropriate to just name all three before we go in, folks, because it looks like it might be a while. So with that, 41A, executive session pursuant to Minnesota Statute 13D.05, subdivision 3, paren B, with the city attorney to discuss potential litigation relating to construction contracts for the apron project at the Moorhead Airport. 41B, closed executive session pursuant to Minnesota Statute 13D.05, subdivision 3, paren B, to provide negotiation direction to the city attorney regarding a potential settlement in the matter of James, and I apologize about the name, Nozal versus City of Moorhead, paren INSU 712150. And 41C, a closed executive session pursuant to Minnesota Statute 13D.05, subdivision 3, paren B, to provide negotiation direction to the city attorney regarding terms and conditions of an employment agreement with the preferred candidate for the city manager position. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to move into executive session. Motion made by Councilmember Durand. Is there a second? I see Councilmember Lindahl shaking his hand or his head, saying.
I'll second it then.
No one else has, and I can't see, so other than you. There's a motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam City Clerk.
Dahlquist?
Yes.
Watson Curry?
Yes.
Carlson?
Yes.
Durand?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Seldgevold?
Aye.
Hendrickson?
Aye.
Lindas?
Yes.
Motion carries. We're in executive session. Thank you, folks.
Is everybody on?
Does anyone have any of the old AAA triptychs that you'd flip through them?
I'm quite sure my husband has all of his, probably from the time he was like 7 years old. And we have lots of maps too.
There was some very impressive trips we took, and I remember helping my mom and dad navigate. So.
All ready to go.
Ready to go? Okay. All right, folks, we are back. And is there a motion to take us out of executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing, seeing none. Madam City Clerk?
Dahlquist,
Yes.
Watson Curry,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Durand,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Seljevold,
Aye.
Hendrickson,
Aye.
Lindas.
Yes.
Motion carries. Then the next item of business is to approve the employment contract with Dan Molly with the city of Moorhead.
I would like to take the honor of making that motion.
And I will second that motion.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing, seeing none. Madam City Clerk?
Shelley Dahlquist,
Yes.
Sara Watson Curry,
Yes.
Shelley Carlson,
Enthusiastically, yes.
Heidi Durand,
Yes.
Deb White,
Yes.
Larry Seljevold,
Aye.
Chuck Hendrickson,
Aye.
Steve Lindas.
And I get to say the final yes.
Nice enthusiasm at 9:06 PM, but hey, the motion passes, and congratulations, Mr. Molly.
Wow, thank you,
From
Mayor.
acting to city manager.
I enter this journey with your adventure with you with gratitude and humility. Thank you all.
And thank you for your work. And I think that about wraps it up, if I'm not mistaken, unless there's any other business to conduct. There will be a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And we are adjourned. Good night, Moorhead.
Good night, everyone. Stay safe.
Good night. You as well.